Hello and welcome to another web development tutorial on my channel, and in this tutorial we are going to cover some other CSS properties and how could we apply that on our code and what they gives us in return. So let's get started. So firstly let's put some emit right here. So this I generally put a boilerplate by this. You could push an exclamation mark from your keyboard and then hit tab if you are on Atom or any other thing or any other text editor, but first please download the emit for that. If you want to know how to download these emit for different text editor, so comment down in the comment section. I will make a video on that. Okay, that makes sense. Let's get started. So today we are going to talk about pseudo selectors. These are the main topic of CSS, and today I'm also going to use my inline CSS. So hopefully you all know that what it means, inline CSS. If you don't know, please go. It's a small topic but it's very important. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to create a container class, and in that container I'm going to nothing to do. I am going to text for line center. Okay, just a simple styling so that all things should be good, and font size 1.2 rem. And then whatever I could do is let's let's make some border. So 2 pixels solid white, and background I wanted to have the background of you could say some dark, some not dark, white type color. Okay, and after that let's create in a body tag. Let's do something. So let's create a div with an id of container. So right here I have a container id. So now in my container id what I could do is I could create an span tag and write code with this is my channel name, and then right here let's write in h1 id. So if I save this code, and after saving this code, if I go to Mozilla Firefox, it should look like this. And I know it's not so good. So what I could do is generally go to my files and reset some things, which is very important. If you're making some project, you have first. It's a very good practice. Okay, hope you know understand why it's a good practice. But just make your work very elegant, and sometimes it saves your time. Besides of doing some frustrating work on how the width and height is not going to work properly, we could do this thing, and it's make our website good. So it's just like that. And now what I would do is in my body, let's simplify, give a font family, some small font family. Sorry for the noise if you hear that. Okay, so right here I give a body with a container and just like that. Okay, just change this to mono space. It will good and nothing will be happen. Okay, so let's do something into our container span. Sound is very noise outside. Okay, and span, what I wanted to do is color, let's say yellow. And what I could do is font size, let's make some bigger font size. As we see, font size is 1.2 ram. Let's make it 1.3 ram, so it's slightly bigger than others. So let's make it 1.6 ram, so it will be bigger than other. And then make a container h1 and make the font size smaller. Font size 1.4 ram. So now it should good. And after that, what we could do is we could define. So now let's talk about pseudo selector. So if you see my last video, you know I talk about hover. One thing I also see in hover tutorial is use some things like let's make a hover right here. So you all know hover means. So let's make hover thing. Let's change the background color when you hover over that, and change it to other light color. Okay, so if I now go, you could see the color is changing. Okay, so if you do some big changes, let's say if I do some big changes, despite of uh, taking color like this, if I take black and save, Now you could see it automatically change in a blink of an eye. So how could I take some time or reduce the time? So uh, CSS got your back, and there's a property called transition. So this property is generally for advanced topic when we covers animations and other stuff, cool stuff. But I think that I should cover this right here because when I was trying to learn these things, I have very problems with how could I make this, and I think that there's some backend or there's some JavaScript used for making this thing like this, and now it's look good. So this is how you could get that effect. Okay, so it's all about that. And another thing we could do right here, let's change this to now. If I go, you could see it changing. It takes some time to change, and it's pretty good. Other thing I'm going to talk about so is generally don't take it seriously. Just what I said it right here is transition. Transition is a property of CSS which makes workflow to somehow in, take some gaps on the work and not add the function in a blink of an eye. It gives them time. So right here I give all. It generally first we have to give the property name, then we have to give the time, and then ease in. There are other things called ease in out, and well, let's say ease in out. So it will go, it will come, and on the same time it will comes first and then it will go. If I ease in, so it take all the time to ease in and ease out. So just like that. Okay, hope you understand. And I will cover this all stuff in when we comes to animation because it will use there and many other things, many other times. So other thing, let's talk about other studio selector. So other is the after, and what after do is generally this. First thing you have to give all the time is content. So let's say I want to give some content after, and if I save now, the what we do is after all that stuff, all the tag, all the markup you push to your HTML, it will automatically we could send the HTML markup or any text to a certain tag by after. There is another thing we could use which we generally call before. Okay, and before generally gives it to upper part. Okay, so you are thinking how could I use these classes? So generally we could use these classes in many cool stuff. So one of them is overlay, and overlay function we will cover that later on when we come to properties of uh, the index part and other cool stuff like position, absolute, relative, fixed, static, sticky, and many other things. Then we will certainly jumps into contain after hover, and other things we have like container active. Generally, I think container active will not work right here because the reason behind this is generally container active is used at most of the time for, let's say, now you could see a blink of an what it means is how much time for that the container is active. So this is general just like that. So the time the container is active, we will use it, and generally we use it for input tags because in input we push something and push some text on a certain input field. So just like that, and then we have some focus and many other we will talk about them. So focus generally not work right here. Focus and these containers, these other pseudo selectors will work on our that thing. Okay, so hover is also a pseudo selector, and that's it. And all other pseudo selector we will talk about them later when we talk about some other things, because if I talk about right here I could not explain. I just did here after and before. I could not explain their at most work like overlay on the text image to simple contrast a text above the image. Okay, because we have to know all other properties like z index and position, and before getting to those property I could not come right down here and explain you all that stuff. Okay, so hope you understand that thing. Okay, so if you like the video, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.